Today we are covering translating words, phrases, sentences into mathematical statements. If we can learn how to translate any word problem, then I feel like we can solve it. So that's my goal this year, is to teach you how to translate. So let's start with some phrases. Take a minute and please pause the recording and write this list of words. Actually, can I have somebody please read what the first column? Go, Connor. Sorry. Go.
Plus, add, increase by, sum, total, more than.
Good. And next one, go, Lermer.
Minus, subtract, decreased by, diminished by, difference, less than, subtracted from.
Good. Next column, Dakota.
Times, multiply, product of twice times 2.
Good. And then we've got our third column, Matthew.
Divide and quotient.
Okay, and notice that we're going to have some backwards words that we'll be discussing that are highlighted in that are boxed in red. Okay, I want you to write as we're going. You should be taking notes on all of these. So when we have 5 plus x, this is going to look like 5 plus x. What do you think add 5 and x means? Add 5 and x. Go.
The same thing.
What?
5 plus x.
5 plus x. Good. When you see an operation that's close to an and, you're going to send it right over there. Okay? Send that sign. So I'm sending it. This is coming over to the middle. That becomes the plus. What comes before it? 5. What comes after it? X. Okay? Every time we have an and an operation sign. All right. What's the word that implies the operation? Cameron? Sum. And so I'm sending it. What does sum mean? Addition. So I'm sending the addition sign to the and. What comes before it? A 5. What comes after it? An x. So it's a 5 plus x. You guys with me? Am I erasing that too fast? The next one is going to be 5 increased by x. 5 increased by x. Okay, what is that going to look like? How about Theo? What do you think that's going to mean? Yep, that's right. Can you say that a little louder? No? Okay, 5 plus x. He whispered it to me. The next one is going to be 5 more than x. Now this is what I call a backward word or a crisscross word. And so when you see the word than, what does more than mean? What operation, Rami? More than's what? Addition. When you see the word than, your terms will crisscross or switch places. Your x comes over here, so we know that this means plus, right? But when you see that than, more than, the x term comes over here and the other first term comes over on this side. Now I know that the value is the same, but I want you to learn to translate properly. So every time we see that word than, you're going to swap the words. Got it? Swap the terms. Does everybody understand what a term is? What I mean by term is like if I have t squared plus 3 plus r plus m to the 4th. Each of these are terms. They're separated by plus signs. 5x is a term. As soon as you see a plus sign, 3y squared. the plus sign, I could even have a 5x plus 2 times 3 plus y. That is one term because the 2 is connected by multiplication. Okay? So, switching the terms. Are you guys good with that? Another, something that's different is when we have is more than, that signifies that signifies a result or an outcome. Is means equal, but is more than means what? Does anybody know? Carter, what do you think? Is more than?
I was thinking subtract.
It's not subtract. That's just more than. This is more than. How about Annabella?
5 is greater than it.
Is greater than. Yes, 5 is greater than. So notice the difference, guys. Look very close. Here, more than, when it just says more than, it means plus. When it says is more than, that means 5 greater than x. Or you could write it x is less than 5, right? Just flip it around. X is touching the smaller side here. 5 greater than x. Are you guys with me?
Yes.
Are there any questions? Am I being clear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, moving on. So 5 is greater than x. Can I move on? All right. More tricky ones. 5 minus x. How do I write it? Go, Ashley.
5 minus 5.
Yeah. I'm going to let you do the next one. 5 less x. Does it say than? No. So what does it look like? 5 minus x. The difference. Oh, there's an operation and an and. What does difference mean?
Subtraction.
Subtraction. It means subtraction. I'm sending it to the and. What comes before it? Everybody. 5. What comes after it? So the difference is 5 minus x. Now, when we put that later on, that's going to have to travel together if they say a difference. A difference needs 2 parts. Got it? All right, the next one is 5 decreased by x. 5 decreased by x. What am I going to write? Somebody I haven't heard from. Shivam.
5 minus x.
5 decreased by x, yes. 5 minus x. And then we'll have 5 less than x. 5 less than x. How about Aton?
It'll be x minus 5.
X minus 5. That's that backward word. So this is x minus 5 because we have the less than. And x comes over here. The 5 comes over here. And it's minus. Okay. Questions? Okay, and then 5 subtracted from x. This one's sneaky. David.
X minus 4.
Yes, if 5 is subtracted from something, the something has to go first. So it's x minus 5. Those are the two that are a little bit different. When it says 5 subtracted from x, it has to be subtracted from something. Questions? 5 is less than x. 5 is less than x. How about Devin Brown?
5 less than x is x minus 5.
No, is less than 5.
Oh.
There's an is. Less than looks like this, but this says is less than.
It's 5. Oh, x is greater than 5.
Close. You have the inequality right. You said x is... Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm wrong. You're doing a lot in your head. How about if you just do this? 5 is less than x, and he said x is greater than 5. What I'm worried about that is write that out, then do this. Okay, X is next to the greater sign. So just make sure to not do so much work in your head, because when you're stressed out, you're going to lose numbers, negatives. You understand? You're right. You had it right, I had it wrong. Questions? Can I erase it? Okay. All right, this is a pain in the butt. Okay, I'm sorry, but I want you to write these. Go. Pause the recording and write these. And leave space under each one so you can write. All right, so now, how would I translate 5 subtract x? How do we translate 5 subtract x?
You forgot to re-record.
No, I'm recording.
Oh.
Shh. Okay, Kaylin.
Oh, I'm Sage.
Oh, sorry, Sage. Sage. 5 minus x. Excellent. Okay. Now, we see product. I want you to write these notes. We see product. Where do I send it to? The closest to and. And what operation does product imply? Multiplication. So I've got a multiplication sign. I have a 10 and I have a y. How do we write that 10 times y? 10y is the best way to write that. Okay? 20 decreased by a number t. What's that going to look like? Let's go with Mark.
20 minus t.
20 minus t. Good. There's no tricks there. Okay. 6 added to the product of 11 and m. Where do I send that? What does the word product mean and where do I send it to? Rami.
I did 6 plus.
I didn't ask you that. Answer my question. What does the term product mean?
Multiplication.
Multiplication. So I send it over here, and we end up with, how do I translate that 11 and m?
I just wrote them.
How do I translate that portion?
I just wrote 11M.
11m. Good. Sorry, I didn't hear you. And then when it says 6 added to, added is clear, but it has to be added to something. So is this the correct way to write it?
Yeah.
6 added to something. How would I write it correctly? How did you write it?
I wrote it with 6 plus and then in parentheses.
Okay. If it's added to something, you must start with the something first. It's added to something. So how am I going to write it, Rami?
11M plus 6.
Yep. 11m plus 6. Is that clear? 11m plus 6. Whoa. The quotient of y and 9. Okay, go Bryce.
I put quotient in and
In the and what does quotient mean?
divide.
Division, so good. Divide.
So it's y over 9.
Y over 9. I like the way he said it. Y over 9. And we can also write that as y divided by 9, but we don't really use that symbol anymore in algebra. Okay, now 8 less than 7 times k. I see a less than Roman.
That's 7k minus 8.
Perfectly said. Remember, it's a crisscross. This is one term, this is another term, and we have to switch them. 7k minus 8. Yes.
Wouldn't it be 7k minus 8 if it was just 8 less than, or 8 less, or without less than? Because wouldn't,
8 less 7k. No, it would not crisscross it.
because
It would be 8 minus 7k.
because on 4 it switched, so it wasn't sure.
But this is added to
Oh.
something. Okay, we're going to move on to the next one. So there's 4 words in here that simplify an outcome, okay, or a result. And the first one is sum. That implies the result of an addition expression. What is the outcome here? How about Sophia? No, there's a word that implies the result. Fatima.
Difference.
The difference in the third column. Julio. Product implies the result of two numbers being. And then the last one, let's go with Shivam. Quotient. Okay? So now we're going to, let's pause it and have you guys write these as well. I'm sorry. It's a big writing day. You don't have to write the directions, but at least write this part. All right, so now after you've written these down, let's start to translate them. I'm going to show you an example on number 1, and then we'll do number 2 together, and then you can kind of work on the rest of them. So 6, less than twice a number x. So the first thing I do is I look for my operation. What is that, Cameron? What's the operation?
Less than twice.
Okay, less than is the operation, and then there's a twice. Okay, what does less than mean?
It means you have to switch things.
But what does it mean? What operation?
Subtraction.
Subtraction. Except we have that than there, so it means the terms have to be switched. So what comes before it?
You have to do the twice first.
Twice a number x first.
2x. And then since it's less than, it's 2x minus 6.
Perfect. Okay. Number 2. 5 times a sum. What's the closest operation to the and, Lily?
The closest operation to the and is the sum.
The sum. And so I'm going to circle that sum, send it to the and. That's a plus. What comes before it?
I did
What comes before it?
before the plus.
Uh-huh. Right before it, right next to it. Why? What comes right after it? 4. That's the order. But now it says 5 times a sum. It's a quantity. It's not, if I put the 5 here, is that 5 times a sum?
No, it's 5.
No, that's just 5 times the y. So what would I do, Lily?
You put 5 and then you put y plus 4 in parentheses.
The y plus 4 because that is the sum. Okay, you want to pause it and finish the rest of them?
No,
Yes, question.
could you put the 5 in parentheses as well?
You could, it's not going to hurt you to, but it's just extra work. Okay? Do you want to just keep doing the rest of them together?
Yeah.
Okay, twice the difference of m and 3. Who thinks they have this one? I'd like to hear from somebody I haven't heard from. Max.
I put 2 and then put,
Twice.
yeah.
Good. The difference.
And then m minus 3.
Good. M minus 3. Yep. There we go. The next one. They start getting trickier. The next one. Let's go, Veronica.
I did 7 over x minus 2.
Yes. So I believe you can write it like this. 7 divided by x minus 2. X definitely goes x less 2. That's its own chunk. If we put this into a fraction, I believe it's going to look like this.
Yes.
Okay? The difference of 6 and k divided by 9. The difference of 6 and k, Roman?
6 minus k over 9.
6 minus the k over 9. Good. Next one. 4 times, so I'm doing my difference, went over to the and. That's a chunk, then divided by there. Okay, let's go with, what? David? Yes.
I put 4 and then I put parentheses the sum of 12 and y, so 12 plus y.
Good. 12 plus y. Okay? Okay, questions? Yes, David.
Number 4, wouldn't it be, if it was like the way you said, wouldn't it be 7?
I know. If I
equals
send it to
7
the and,
the difference of x and 2? Wouldn't it be
the thing is x less 2 is kind of one unit. I see what you're saying. Is it like this?
This is why we need commas.
You're right. This is why we need commas. But I believe it's the other way. Let's see. Yes. Somebody said Miss Shimasaki. Let me get back to you on that one. All right, they're getting more complicated. 8 less than twice the sum of 4 and y is the same as 19.
Are we ready?
Well, you can write the answer. I just want you getting the practice of doing this. If you're at home, you can just write the answer. So, notice the operation is, the first operation we see is what words?
Less than.
Less than. Okay, what comes before it?
The sum.
What comes before it?
8.
8. What comes after it? Twice the sum of 4 and y. That's a whole nother chunk. How do I translate that? Twice the sum of 4 and y. Twice the sum of 4 and y. Annabella?
You put 4 plus y in parentheses.
Twice the sum.
2 and then 4 plus y in parentheses.
The twice, and we say the quantity of 4 plus y. Good. But now it says less than. So what am I doing with this?
Do you put the whole thing in brackets?
How, no. How do I do that portion? If it says than. Less than. Okay, Julio? Right, so how's it going to read from left to right? Y minus 8. Now ready? Here we go. You ready for the next part, Theo? Okay, the next part is. What does is imply? What does is imply? How about Aiden? It's my equal sign. Is the same as is your equal sign 19. Okay, try the next. Yeah, go. Try translating. You're not going to solve. You're just going to translate.
Oh, I
No, we're going to translate 2, 3, and 4. Go. All right, so this next one, 6 more than x becomes x plus 6. Then we have is more than is the greater than sign. Twice the difference of x and 7 is 2 times the quantity of x minus 7. Number 3, who's going to do this one? Okay, Julio?
I did m over 3
Good. M over 3. Keep going.
equals 10m minus 6.
Good. We have 6 less than. So we take our 10m. 10m plus, you said?
No, I said minus.
Okay. Minus 6. And then the last one, David?
X minus 5 is less than.
Good. We have that less than and then. So I'm getting x minus 5. Keep going. Is less than.
5 minus x.
What does that mean, is less than?
Still.
We call that an inequality symbol. Is less than 5 less x. What am I writing?
5 minus x.
Good. Okay, questions? All right. Let's see. What? Should I go back? Did somebody need it? Pause the recording and... Is that okay?
It's fine.
Okay. All right, let's look at now. Notice the directions. There's 2 sets of directions here. One says translate, the other says solve. So I've got 5 times the sum of x and 4. How am I writing that? 5 times. Go, Cameron.
5 in parentheses. No, but not 5 in parentheses, but x in 4 parentheses. And
Open
then
parentheses, x plus 4
plus 9 equals 64.
is added to 9. It's added to
Oh, so
something.
the whole thing in brackets.
No.
No?
Is at, yeah, okay, we could do
The
that.
whole thing in brackets and then put plus 9 and then equals 64.
Here?
Yeah. And then
No. If it's added to, you have to start with something.
In the beginning, yeah.
So what's it going to be?
9 plus,
Right.
and then
9 plus,
the end equals 64.
and the result equals 64. And then they want us to solve it. Let me go back to and just double check my. Yep. You could have left it like this. When you put it with those extra brackets, what you're doing is saying start that group first. Now, if you write it the way I wrote it, you run the risk of what many of my students do is they will add before they multiply. Remember, we have to multiply first. So what would I do first here? Go, Lily.
You do the distributive property.
Right?
So you end up with 9
Plus.
5x plus 20.
Good. Good. And then we're going to combine our like terms of 9 and 20. That becomes 29. And then we're subtracting. We're left with 5x equals 35. To isolate the variable, divide both sides by 7, and x is equal. Divide by 5. Okay, are you guys clear on the translating? Okay, that's it. Does everybody have homework written down? When you come in the morning, that's the first thing you should write. And that's it. We're out.